Hi.
Hi.
My name is Caitlin, and I'm going to be the SLP working with you today.
Okay.
What would you like me to call you?
My name is Megan. It's nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. I wanted to say thank you for taking the time to do this today and really getting to work with your child. So today we're going to be asking you about questions about your kid's developmental history and language and medical history.
Okay.
And that should only take about 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started then.
All right.
All right, so what is your child's name?
His name is Taylor Murray.
Okay. All right, and what is Taylor's date of birth?
It is 8/1/2017.
Okay, perfect. And how old is Taylor?
He is 7 years old.
Great. And what is Taylor's sex?
Male.
Perfect. And what pronouns does Taylor like to go by?
He and him.
Okay, thank you. And what is the primary language spoken with Taylor?
English.
Okay. Is there any other languages used with Taylor?
No, English is the only one.
All right, sounds great. And were you referred by anyone today?
Yes, his teacher referred us. She had some concerns, and I also had some concerns about his language. He has trouble formulating his thoughts and expressing himself. He's a terrible speller and has trouble writing.
Okay.
Both forming letters and with the content of his writing. But yeah, his second grade teacher referred us.
Okay, gotcha. That's good to know. I'll go ahead and put that onto my notes. All right, and then let's go ahead. And you are Taylor's mother, correct?
Correct.
All right. And who does Taylor live with primarily?
He lives at home with me and his 3-year-old sister. He does visit his other parent once a month on the weekends. He also has 3 younger half-siblings in the home, but I'm not sure their ages.
Okay, sounds great. And do you have any contact info for you?
Sure. My address is 8999 Highway 41A, and that's a Sebree address. And if you'd like my phone number.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's 270-635-7203.
All right, perfect. All right, so we're going to move on into his developmental history, if that's all right.
Okay.
So, did you have any problems with Taylor during pregnancy?
No, there are no problems at birth or during the pregnancy.
Okay.
He weighed 8 pounds, 3 ounces, and everything was okay.
Perfect. That's great to hear. And do you know Taylor's length whenever he was born?
He was around 20 inches.
All right, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then so do you recall whenever Taylor started reaching developmental milestones, like rolling over, sitting up?
I don't remember a whole lot of them, but most of them were pretty well on time. He was crawling at around 9 months, and he took his first steps around 11 months.
Okay, those sound very much on track. Do you know when he said his first word?
His first word was no, and
Okay.
it was around 14 months.
Okay, so that sounds good. Thank you so much. Okay, and so I'm going to ask you some questions about his current communication. How does Taylor like to communicate with you? Is this gestures, single words, or is it on the sentence level?
He can speak clearly and everyone can understand him. He understands language well and he loves to be read to. However, he has difficulty answering questions quickly.
Okay.
He has a hard time getting his point across. When he tries to tell a story, like about something that happened at school, he rambles and uses words like a lot.
Yeah.
And he's quieter than other kids his age too.
Gotcha. Okay. So is that what you would say your main concern is him being quieter and having difficulty responding?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Okay, so how does he let you know he wants something to eat or drink, just with it sentence level?
Yeah, he loves, he does, yeah, I would say sentence level. He is kind of difficult to communicate with at home.
Does he respond to his name appropriately? Like if you call Taylor, he can answer back to that?
Yeah, he can.
Okay, that's great. And does he follow directions well?
Yeah. He at school, he had a speech and language screening or evaluation.
Okay.
I'm not sure which one, at the school at the end of last school year. And the school said he scored in the average range, so he was fine and didn't need services. But I feel like he's much smarter than average, though, and it concerns me that he isn't receiving the help he needs at school.
Okay, that's really good to know. Thank you. Okay, so a few more questions on his communication. Does he typically seem to understand what you mean when you ask him questions, like at home?
Yeah, a lot of times, but his aunt and grandmother both had trouble reading.
Okay, that's good to know.
I think he might have dyslexia, but the family was never tested, and he hasn't been. But his aunt is a successful accountant now.
Okay, that's really impressive. That's good to know. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to jot that down under medical history for family real quick. Okay, so let's go to his medical history. Does he have any current or past medical conditions that you're aware of?
Growing up at 2 and 3 years old, he had a lot of ear infections that didn't clear up with antibiotics, and then he had to have tubes put in. He hasn't had any more since then. Then he had his tonsils removed about a year ago.
Okay.
And then currently he just kind of has seasonal allergies.
Gotcha.
And takes daily medication for that. He also has asthma and uses an inhaler a few times a week.
Okay, these are all great to know. Thank you so much. Just jotting those down real quick.
Okay.
So, do you have a family history of anything besides your aunt with any difficulties of speech, language, or hearing problems?
Yeah, that was the concern about the aunt and the grandmother both having trouble reading and possibly dyslexia. Let's see. I think that's probably the only family history we can think of.
Okay, so the grandmother and the aunt both had the okay.
Yeah, both had trouble reading.
Okay, that's great to know. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to move on to his educational history.
Okay.
Okay, so where is his current school? Like, what is his current school?
He attends Racers Elementary School.
Okay. And this is an elementary school type program. Perfect. And how would you say he's performing in his academics?
He's in the lowest reading group. He tells you that he is embarrassed because he can't read as well as his friends can.
Yeah.
His teachers say he is making progress and is in learning to read and write, but it's slow progress.
Gotcha. Well, that's nothing he should be embarrassed about. I'm glad you're here to try to get some help for him. Does Taylor ever get excited when he gets home about what he's learning, or is it all kind of like he's embarrassed?
He seems a little embarrassed because he's not keeping up with his friends.
Okay. How does he interact with his friends?
Well, he really loves puzzles and Legos. He even likes cooking.
Oh.
And he really helps takes care of his younger sister really well too.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's good to hear. So does he talk much about like playing maybe Legos or stuff with his friends, or you don't really know much about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's better if it's something he's interested in.
Okay.
So.
That's good to know. And you did tell me that he had his previous speech evaluation at school, correct?
Correct.
All right, good to know.
They said he scored in the average range.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I just have a few more questions and then we'll be able to wrap this up. Do you have any other concerns to share about Taylor?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's totally great. And what are your current goals for Taylor's speech? Just to be able to get on a normal reading level, or do you have some others?
If he could just maybe like keep up with his friends in school, just so he just doesn't feel so embarrassed. I'd love for him to be more confident in what he's doing at school.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. And just a few, so you told me Taylor's favorite toys were his Legos, and he loves to cook and bake.
Mhm.
Go ahead and put that under his favorite activities. So fun. And do you have any idea of how Taylor plays with his toys? Like, does he play with them normally?
But he gets pretty quiet, kind of like
Okay.
he's concentrating on them. Yeah, he likes to be alone.
Okay.
But he really zones in and focuses on his puzzles.
Gotcha. Okay, that's super great to hear. Well, I'm excited to be able to work with Taylor, and thank you for taking the time to do this today.
Of course, we're excited to work with you too. Thank you so much.
Yes.